record. Good. Now we're recording. I'm going to share the interpretive worksheet so you all can see it. I'm not going to share the quiz because that would be too. Share screen. Share all my screens. Everything.
Oh, the screen.
All right. So you probably can see the worksheet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So originally we were going to do all of Genesis 11, but then after looking at it, I realized the last half of it is all genealogy.
Yeah. Thank you for not doing that.
Waste of our time. Not a waste of our time, but it's not that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only 9 verses. It's really short. So we added in Psalm 1. But even those two things together really don't have that much in vocab. A lot of this, I think we've already come across at one point or another. But I left some of it on there because the words are particularly important for the passage. So let's just take a look at these words real quick, and then we will translate. We can translate all of Genesis 11 today.
Okay, are you recording this at all?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, good.
At least I've tried a couple times.
Okay.
How do I know if I'm recording?
I have no idea.
It says in the upper left.
Yeah, all that went away when I started sharing, I think. But
It's still.
It says in our upper left that it's recording.
okay, good. Well, there you go. Let's see here. When you look at these words, are there any of them that stand out to you as ones that we've already studied?
Ata for now. I think we've seen Safa.
Yeah.
So the lip we have, yeah, we have done that. And obviously Sham there.
Yeah, Sham.
We've had there. Nes-
How about this one?
Oh yeah, L.
Most of these are pretty rare words, actually.
I think
this
Nasa
one
we've done the Abraham one. Yeah.
Yeah, he like.
Any hav, to give or come. We've had something, or settle. Don't we call it settling? A hav.
Which one?
Yahav. The
Uh,
1, 2,
yeah,
3,
this is different,
4th down. Didn't we have that as settle?
we might have had that one.
Yashav.
Yeshav is settle.
Oh, Yeshav.
Yeah, I think this is just a synonym.
Ahav, synonym. Okay.
Let's see here. Well, let's just look at these. Evan, of course, is stone. This is a proper noun. Babel. Balal, to give or to mix. So this is when they're mixing their bricks, I think, mixing the clay for the bricks. It's hard to fortify or be impossible. I think they're fortifying their city here, fortifying the wall with the mortar. Valley, purpose, I don't know. I don't think we need to talk about all of these. Ancient, Kedem is really an important word that we need to make sure we get in our brains. It's from the East or ancient times, so it can be used metaphorically for things that come from ancient times. This is where Job comes from. He comes from Kedem. Most of the time it's translated as East, but it also can be that this is just a really old story about a guy that came from the ancient times.
Huh.
Here's a tricky word. This looks a lot like the word for
Fear, right?
What's that?
The word for fear.
And for fear, that's right. Fear and evil. Resh ayin ayin is evil. Resh ayin hey, fear. And then Resh Aleph hey is to see. So there, it gets kind of complicated, but this one's friend. But it's only Resh ayin, so that's the trickiest part.
What about scatter and overflow? Because that loses its vav.
Yeah, it does. But it almost always have a kibbutz instead of the so if the vav, because this is normally pronounced putz with a shurik in there, but if the vav goes away, it's almost always with a kibbutz, putz. I don't know. This sounds like to scatter, to flow to me. Putz. It just sounds like a good word that should mean to scatter something. I'm going to putz it out there. Migdal. We all know Gadol. Gadol.
We do?
Right.
Gadol?
Big.
Oh, big,
great.
great. So
or to
tower.
grow.
Okay. It all.
So-
Okay.
That's a big thing.
That's right. It's a big. That's exactly right. It's that it has been made big. So you put the mem on, and it just turned the big thing, or to make big, or to become big, into a noun, something that is big. So a tower. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do a little translating and see what we can see. Have you all had a chance to go through this one time, or not yet?
Yeah. I threw it once.
Okay, cool. Well, then let's take a look. Jonah, you want to start us off?
Sure. Do you want to read or just translate?
Yeah, let's go ahead and read.
Okay. Vayhi chol haaretz safa echat udvarim achadim.
Tov Mod. Right here, I don't. Did you pronounce this with 2 syllables or 1 syllable?
Yeah, he said
Or-
Vahi Ho. That's why I wrote
2
that down.
syllables or 3 syllables? Of course, it wasn't 1. Is
Or
it
he did
Um,
3. Vahi Ho, he said. Is that right?
I think I translated that with 2 syllables. Vayhi.
Okay, so this right here is 2 separate syllables. Do you see that line right next to the patak?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That line is separating that as its own syllable. So it's va,
Okay.
yi. It's a
Vayahi.
small thing, but I thought I'd mention it because this
Vayahi is how it is.
it's 3 syllables. Va.
Oh, Vayahi. Oh, then I thought you said Vayikal. Okay. Vayi.
So vayahi kol.
Vayahi.
Okay.
Good. All right.
Okay.
And I translated that as and it happened, and it was that, and it happened that the whole earth had 1 lip and 1 speech.
That's right. Yeah, so this vayahi is almost always just an introductory clause, so you just kind of separate it from everything else. So, and it happened, that works great. All of the land. There's no verb here, which is a little bit of a challenge.
Mhm.
So you threw in had. Normally we're going to add in the to be verb, but here we have to add in some sort of possessive. So had, all the earth had 1 lip,
Language.
or speech or language, yeah. And then 1, this is words, but another synonym, or this is a synonym for safa, language or whatever. So yours was great. All right. Any thoughts or questions on this?
Yeah, I did just wonder a little bit about the number on Dvarim Achadim.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I guess I just assumed that it was kind of an idiomatic thing. Dvarim meaning words, or meaning language or speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we could say something like 1 collection of words, right? So it's talking about the group of words. So there's 1 group of words that everybody shares, but it's more than 1 word, obviously, because we all have multiple words when it comes to the 1 language that we might speak. Yeah, so that is a bit odd because this is singular, and that makes more sense to us. But then here we have the word 1 as plural, and that's a bit tricky. So, but yeah, you're right. It's a little idiomatic there. So it's referencing a group, I think. So.
And then the echat for 1, is that feminine because safa is feminine?
That's right. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's functioning as an adjective, or it is an adjective of safa here. So the adjective is going to match its noun and gender, number, and definiteness. So they're none of them are definite. These ones are plural, masculine, and these 2 are feminine. Yep. Good. All right, Katie, go ahead in verse 2.
Okay. Vayahi benasam
Benosam. This is
benasam mikeden vayimitsu bika Eretz, Shinar, Vayesvu, Sham.
Tov Mod.
And it was in their coming or their going or something from the east.
Yeah. So Nasa, I like to translate this as breaking camp. So that
Okay.
they were living in one spot and they broke camp and now they're moving. But, coming, going, whatever, however you want to make this work, it's a pretty broad word.
Okay, from the east, and they found they found a plane in the land of Shinar.
An airplane? What?
They found a plane.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
They found an airplane in the land of Shinar. They found a Boeing 747 in the land of Shinar, and they settled there in the airplane.
Okay, look at this airplane. It's super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Toph Ode. So I highlighted this as green because it grammatically is interesting. What's going on? Why is this prepositional phrase over here? And where is its verb?
Is that a participle?
Don't see any participles. This
Well, the verb
could be a participle, I guess. I think that's just,
but isn't Vayahi the verb? So this is what happened, and then
the whole separate. Vayahi is almost always a separate clause that is not going to be attached to anything that follows. It's an introductory clause, and it's normally self-contained. What I'm going to argue here is that this prepositional phrase is connected to this clause. It's been fronted because they wanted to emphasize the time this is the context in which all of this has happened. What is challenging about that is there's a vav here. And in English, normally we want to do a prepositional phrase and then like start a whole new clause with vav. And in Hebrew, it's normally we wouldn't do that either. But the reason why this is happening is that this vav is part of this verb and it can't be removed. What is the conjugation of this verb here?
Past narrative.
That's right, it's past narrative. So if you wanted to front something in a clause that's using a past narrative, you can't put it in between, like you can't move this vav. You have to have the vav to make it a past narrative. So to front something in a clause that's using a past narrative, the fronted grammatical element must go before the vav. So it's a bit odd that we see it over here, but I think that's what's going on. So, and they found a valley in the land of Shinar in there or after they set out from the east, right? As they were setting out from the east, something like that. And they decided to settle down there.
And why do you think it's important? This is maybe not a question for Hebrew, but it's why is it important to set out that they're from the east? I mean, is that weird?
No. I mean, a lot of interesting stuff comes from the east. Oftentimes, this is a part of the story. So Job comes from the east. Abraham comes from the east. A lot of the three travelers that meet up with Abraham come from the east. So, like really mysterious things, old things, all of like divine things. That all comes from the east because it's a very mysterious place that humans don't normally go to. Going to the east is not an easy trip to make. So oftentimes, like all of this mysterious stuff comes from there. And when we get introduced to stories that are kind of, in my mind, mythical in some way, like the story of Babel here, it happens from the east. Something's or like Job, right? This is a really kind of mystical story in its own way. That's all happening from the east. So in my mind,
isn't it in the Garden of Eden? Aren't they sent east afterwards? They're expelled from the garden and put east. Like east of Eden is kind of a metaphor for the world.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's interesting because I would have.
You would think they'd be west.
Like my argument is correct. The Garden of Eden should be in the east, right? And they should have been kicked out going west. But
they were sent east.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that
Yeah.
that doesn't really work well with the little theory that I was
Anyway.
just putting out there.
Yeah,
But,
but anyway, it's interesting.
studying the East is important. I haven't done too much of that work. I was just throwing things out there that I remember that come from.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
Uh,
interesting. There's
but
something there.
it's well worth talking about. Down here, you could talk about it, right? Write down
Yep.
East and check it up in your lexicon and do a little word study. All right. Anything else on this verse? You go ahead for verse 3 then.
Who is it? Me?
Yeah.
Am I the only one left?
Yeah.
V'yomaru ish el rahu ra'ehu hava nil bana labanim vanash vanas rafa la leash lease
Rafa.
lis rafa vatim
Let's have you stop there. Sorry, this is
Okay.
a really long verse, and I didn't notice that until now.
Okay.
So we'll have you translate all of this stuff here.
Okay. I know these are all a lot of the new words, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I know. So it's like, okay, because I know it's not bromar, it's not speaking, right? Or did they say to them? Did they say to themselves?
They did.
And
And
they did. Okay, good.
Said, Ish
Okay, and they
Ehu.
said Ishrahu. They said to. Oh, okay. So then that's the friend of the friend. That's their idiom. So they said to one another.
That's right.
Hava. I don't know what Hava was, but it's something about that's where they're. But love bana is building, right? Let us build something.
Mhm.
But Hana, what is Hava?
Anybody, Jonah or Katie, do you guys remember this one?
Hava.
Come, right?
Oh,
Say it
come,
again.
let us. Oh, Hava.
Yeah.
Come, let us build.
Come.
And then the build love something. I mean, I want to say they want to build a tower, but that's not banim.
Not quite right. They got to make their materials first.
They've got to. Let's build is banim bricks? Then that's bricks. Love the bricks.
Yeah. So let's
But
go up
bricks
to the
is-
list up here. That's Psalms.
Whoops.
So to make bricks, Laban is actually
Oh, Laban. Okay.
let us make bricks for
Lavanim. Let us make bricks for. This is the. Is that the tower?
no big ballist tower, and we're not going to get to the tower for a while because they're making bricks for building.
For building, yeah.
Yeah. So this is it's got to be a participle.
Mhm.
That long on the front for building.
For building. Or for burning, isn't it?
For burning.
You have burning.
Roth is to burn.
Sharaf. You have
Bricks for building.
You said burning, so there's burning twice.
No, they're for building.
Well, I don't know. Why do I see burning?
Where do you see burning?
On the right-hand column of your of the worksheet. Sharafah.
Sharaf is to burn, but I think you may have moved on to the next. Yeah, we're all talking about this word here. If you can look at this.
Oh, you are? Okay, sorry. Oh, okay. So that's for building. Okay.
Let us
So come, let us make bricks for let us start making bricks.
make bricks for
Brick.
building.
For building.
Let us make building bricks. Now this is the burning. So
And that's the burning, yeah. So then burning twice. So
and we will thoroughly
we
burn.
will thoroughly burn them.
You know, That's
Thoroughly make them or something, huh?
a challenging phrase there.
Yeah.
I'm
I thought
gonna
it was-
stick
You
with
have semantics listed there. Is that just because of burning? We don't really think of burning.
Yeah, trying to understand what, like, we would say baking or something like that, and why two in a row. So we got to add in the instantly part. So imperfect, and then this is just a noun. Oh, your faces are in my way. Go.
Do you think that that's so you think that that means instantly or thoroughly, like the burning, where they have the shurafa
Yeah, I think it has to be thoroughly.
thoroughly, so that's important to them in terms of it's the bricks are hard or really good bricks or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think much of this is that significant. They're just saying, let us prepare a bunch of bricks, and this is the process by which we do it. Right?
Okay.
Let us make bricks for building. We're going to thoroughly burn them or thoroughly bake them.
And we'll bake them. Okay.
Is that, yeah, that's where I told you to stop. All right, Jonah, go ahead and pick up from there. Oh, I can't hear you, Jonah. Sorry.
You're muted.
Yes, I'm muted.
You're going to have to do that all again.
Mathi lahem halavena la'aven v'hachemar haya lahem lachomer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it was for them the brick for stone, and the tar was for them. Well, I was confused about this because it looks like it says the tar was for them tar, but
Yeah, I know. So I think one is going to be tar.
right.
And then mortar.
It's like tar and mortar or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got, yeah, it's odd, but I think they're actually two different words. They're spelled a little bit different, at least. So this one's noun. They're both nouns, but one means mortar or clay. The other one actually means tar.
Okay.
At least according to my little instant details box down here. What's the subject of this verb here?
The subject is going to be Levena.
Living now, yeah, good. So this is our subject. So normally we would have subject, verb, object. Why do we have verb, object, subject?
Past narrative again.
Past narrative's done that to us. Why not verb, subject, object?
I guess, is it like, is it grammatically fronted or is it like, I don't know.
Like, because why would they choose to front that?
Yeah, right, exactly. That's a good question. So the interesting part here is that the object can't be moved. So the object is always going to be the next one in line after the verb when it is this sort of prepositional phrase like this. So when you have lahem, like if you have, we've seen this before when it's like vayomer lahem Abraham, and Abraham spoke to them. The lahem always is connected to its verb. So the subject has to get moved. This whole thing gets fronted, actually. The subject doesn't move. All of this gets fronted grammatically because of the past narrative. The subject's at the end now, which is just kind of annoying, but I also kind of like it. So it depends on your perspective there. Yeah, the syntax is kind of easy on this verse here. So you got subject, verb, object, indirect object. So all that's fine. But the semantics is a pain because these look to us like the same word, but they're actually different. All right, good. So now they're all ready to make their beautiful tower, and here they go. Katie, pick it up on verse 4.
Vayomru hava nivne lanu, ear, umigdal, migdol.
Mm-hmm. Migdal is
Migdal.
a vowel. Yeah, it's accented here, so it's a vowel.
Okay. Migdal. Where's the Atnak?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was looking for it. It's all the way down here.
Okay. Baroshu Bashamayim Vanase Lanu Shame.
Okay, good. Stop there. That's good. Just a note on pronunciation. When you see an aleph in here like this is actually going to be, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 syllables. So instead of Vayom-ru, this is Vayom-ru.
Okay.
It's a small thing, but good. Yeah. Okay.
And they said, "Come, let us build for ourselves a city and a tower, and something about the top of it, with its top in the heavens,
Mm-hmm.
and let us make for ourselves a name."
Mm-hmm.
Let's make a name for ourselves.
Yeah. So this clause here is a null copula clause. There's no verb. So, and its head will be in the heavens. We add in the will be. And let us make for ourselves a name. All right. Julie, go ahead and translate the rest of that.
Okay, so we're at the pen.
Yep.
Pennefoots al penny kal haaretz. And
This is
what is
coal here.
call all
Coal.
coal. Coal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's not accented, so it has to be an O vowel.
Okay.
That word's always pronounced out.
It's always coal eretz. I know. Okay. That's probably obvious. Okay. Let's see. So anyway, I'm sorry. So let's make a name for ourselves. And then this is on, I don't know what that is. I don't know what the nefetz is again. Why do I not know that?
Nafutz is to scatter.
And they were, okay. I know that they're so that we.
What does pen mean?
Thus.
Well, not thus here. It's lest.
Lest. Oh, lest we be scattered. Okay, that makes sense. Lest we be scattered over the face of the earth. Okay. Okay, that was my. Okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about this as far as interpretation goes.
Okay.
So they want to build a tower with its head up in the heavens. They want to build this fancy city, lest we are scattered over the. Why are they worried about being scattered over the face of the earth? What do you think is motivating this concern of theirs? I don't see anything in the previous verses that suggests they're in danger of being scattered. So what do you think?
I know, that's why I was kind of stuck on that. Like, they're not saying, so we're not scattered, we want to stay here. They're not like doing it as a positive.
Yeah, well, they want to stay there, and for some reason they think they need the city and this tower, and if they don't have it, they're going to be scattered over all the face of the earth. And I'm in my mind, I'm wondering why they're worried about this. What is it about their current context that suggests they might be scattered unless they have a city and this really cool tower?
Is it just the population's growing, so they just keep expanding out and out further?
Well, and how is the tower and the city gonna stop them from being scattered then?
Because they could protect themselves from invaders.
Okay, so maybe the city will help protect themselves, and they want to
Kind
make
of define
a name for themselves. How does the name help them not be scattered about?
I feel like this is more of an allegory or like a ideological thing of like a historian or a storyteller is looking back and being like, oh man, like or like looking around at its context being like, there are a lot of languages spoken here.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to make up this story that explains how we have so many languages. And so like that would have been a fear. So like now he's looking around saying like, we're all scattered everywhere with lots of different languages. Why is that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good.
So I think that's kind of the goal of the story.
Yeah, good. I think that's really helpful. I don't think this clause here makes much sense unless that's how we view this story, right? People trying to build a tower and make a name for themselves aren't particularly concerned about, being scattered around the face of the earth. And we learn about this scattering later on when God comes to them to bother them. But I think that this story is being written for exactly what you're saying, Katie, is to answer this question. Why are we scattered around?
But I don't know. But then they use the verb, like that verb halal is kind of has that its beginning when we begin to do this, but there's also this profanity kind of that are associated with it. And I don't know if that matters, but it was sort of like this sense of, and this is how it's always been taught, that it's more of the egoism of trying to build something really great.
Yeah.
I mean, and that could be just layers and layers of interpretation on this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get at. And that's, I think, one of the things we need to do when we're reading these passages is to strip away those layers of interpretation and rebuild them if necessary. Maybe that's where this story goes. But we need to start from scratch. And I think at this verse, we need to start at a place where we're asking the question, why are they building this tower? What is it about this tower having its head up in the heavens that is significant? And that's a whole different question. Why do they even think they can build a tower with the top up in the heavens? And where are these heavens and who's up there? Right. And the ancient mind is going to answer those questions a lot differently than we are. We might look at like Rockefeller Center and say, oh man, it's up in the heavens, right? It's just more metaphorically. But what do you think? Like this tower, do you think they really thought they could build it all the way up to the heavens? Or was it metaphorical even back then?
That's the question.
That's kind of our Jack and the Beanstalk, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I wonder, I mean, when we looked at Genesis chapter 1 and talked about the rakia in the heavens and the birds flying all the way up to the heavens, it makes you wonder if they actually thought that they could build a tower this tall. And if they actually thought that, then that answers some of the questions about what is going on further down. Well, let's have those questions in our mind as we continue reading, because some of them get answered as we go further in. But any questions about this verse or comments before we move on? All right, verse 5. Is it your turn, Jonah?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, go for it.
Vayired Adonai lirot et ha'ir ve'et hamigdal asher bana banu b'nei ha'adam. And the Lord came down the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of humanity had built.
Yeah, good. All right. I think I highlighted this word in yellow on the worksheet. And I think it's interesting that the Lord is coming down. Oh, it's not yellow, but blue. Yeah. What do you think about that? The Lord coming down. Where is he coming down from? Metaphor? Did they actually think this was literal? Does it tell us anything about the nature of their God? What do you guys think?
The gods in the heavens.
Well, it's I don't know. When we read the creation narrative, it's almost like God is standing outside of the creation and sort of calling everything into order. So maybe they viewed God as we have our firmament and our rakia and then our waters, and then God is somewhere outside of this.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, if our worldview is that the land is here, we're on top of the land, the rakia is up here,
And then heavens,
and
and
if
then
God is on the other side of that, all of that is up, right?
Mhm.
It's not like we have this globe where the outside of the rakia is all around the globe.
Mhm.
He is above us. So if the gods or God were to come down, or to come to Earth, that would have to happen by coming down, right?
Mhm.
There's no other way to get to the land. You can't come up from underneath it or anything like that, unless you're coming from Sheol, and that'd be a weird place for God to come from. So God comes down, and the time that this story was being read 4,000 years ago, they might have actually thought this was literal, that the gods or God could come down from there. All right.
wow, that's
So
interesting.
what is God doing? Why, the modern conception of God says that this verse is kind of odd. Why would God have to come down to look at the city and the tower? Doesn't he already know what it looks like? Why does he have to perform this inspection? What's going on? That might be just a rhetorical question, but if you have thoughts on it, go for it.
Well, I mean, couldn't they be making some sort of point about how they view their God getting involved in human affairs?
Mm-hmm.
Like he gets up close and personal.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so and that might be the most important point. It's not the question whether or not God is omniscient and knows everything, but how personal is this God? This God's going to come down and check out your city. He's going to do an inspection, and if he doesn't like it, he's going to deal with it. Right? It's a whole different sort of question. So I like that perspective on this, because all the questions I'm asking are really modern sort of theological questions that the ancient person probably wasn't too concerned with.
Well, it's not a relationship God, because a relationship God would know that you're already doing it, right? So it's a little different idea of God than what we've come to expect, I think.
It's not the God who...
It's like the God that comes and says, you
powerful.
screwed it up. You're not supposed to be building a tower to the heavens. I mean, it's not a God that's saying, I know what you're doing, and, come on, let's do better than this.
Yeah, good.
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's see more. God does some more things. So
Yeah.
let's find out what he is up to. Verse 6, Katie.
Vayomer Adonai hein echad v'shafa ata achat lechulam v'zeh hachilam. I don't know where the atnak is in this either. Oh, it's right there. La asot.
So you can stop there.
Okay, and the Lord said to them, the people.
What is Hain?
Huh?
What is Hain?
Behold.
Oh, yeah. Behold, one people.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming down and says, behold, they're one people and with one language, and what is
among them, and then this halam. Now what's halam?
Anybody know? There's 3 words here.
I don't know.
I think it's to all of them.
That's right. To them, and here's Cole.
Oh, there. Okay, cool.
Look down at the instant details box. Cole is actually from the root kaf lamed lamed. That's why the lamed is doubled here. And it's always spelled with some sort of O vowel, either a holam, common skatone, or here we have our kibbutz. So it's kind of a weird occurrence of Cole, but it tells us a lot about the nature of this word. Anyways, it's to all of them. So there's one language.
So it's among all of them is what that means, right?
What was that, Julie?
Among all of them? Just one language among all of them?
Well, there's one language that all of them have. Like this is a possessive lamed here.
Yeah, to all of them. And this Hahilam. This is something. Okay.
Chet Lamed Lamed.
Chet Lamed Lamed. Halal. This dividing. Oh, profane.
Oh, the profane, the building. We just talked about that. I couldn't.
Yeah, this is grammatically
Or it's
difficult.
the beginning.
It can be beginning or to profane. And so in this, this thing they have begun to do is probably how that should be, something like that.
That they're making, begun to make. Okay.
Is that any question? Let's see here. There are a lot of questions on this. So God is talking, first off. Whenever God talks, the grammar gets really difficult. So that's one thing that we can observe is we don't have any just like normal verbs here. Right? We have our infinitive construct down here. This is another infinitive construct. So 2 in a row, that's kind of odd. These clauses here don't have any verbs at all. So like when God talks, it's like busting out the KJV sort of language when we want to like pray in a high and mighty sort of way. You know?
Julie, mute your stuff.
Am I what?
Mute your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to do that. The page turning just seems
okay,
pretty
sorry.
close to your microphone. So anyways, it's difficult because God's talking, and that just needs to be pointed out, I think. So behold, one people and one language to all of them. And this thing they have begun to do, or let's see here. Yeah, this thing they have begun to do. Now we got to translate the rest of it. So go ahead, Julie.
Okay, is it me? Okay. Vayata lo yivaetz yabatzer mayam kol asher yazmu. I can't see from the thing. Shoot, sorry. Yazmu. Asher yatzmu la asot.
This is Yozmu.
Yozmu.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so they're beginning to work on something, and then this is. It will not be impossible for them. I don't know what the first one or what they're making. Is that atat, like something from asa, or
Anybody
I don't know what that
an
verb is.
means?
It's just
What?
now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's just the word now.
And
So now. Oh, okay, now. So now, so this is like it will not be impossible for them for all that they're trying to do, that they will do.
Yeah. So all
Right.
which they set their mind to do will not be impossible for them.
Okay. So yitzmu is setting your mind to it.
Yeah, to have purpose. So all which they set out to do. That's probably a clearer way to say that. Or all which the NRSV apparently translates it as propose. All which they propose to do or plan to do. Any of that would work. So God is saying, man, they have one language. They're one people. They have one language. And now look what they've began to do. And look what they've begun to do. And now nothing will be impossible for them. That's a pretty big statement. Any thoughts or questions on that one?
Yeah, I guess mayhem. Why mem and not lamed?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that question. It was in my mind as well. It's like, how do I answer that question when Jonah asked it? and I couldn't figure it out. You have logged in from another device?
We're over 10.
Go away.
It's 10 o'clock, so someone else
Somebody's
might
trying to get in.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, somebody might have a 10 o'clock. I try to schedule it until 10:15 just for this purpose, but to answer that quickly, I don't know.
All right.
I'll think about it, and if I come up with an answer, I'll tell you.
Cool.
All right. Well, just a few more verses, but we'll get into that tomorrow, and also Psalm 1. But be working on your preparing for the vocab quiz. So.
Okay, so we're going to do vocab. Are we supposed to turn in a translation tomorrow? So a better,
Preliminary translation.
just to see that we're working on it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I want to know that by the first week of our worksheets, you have gone through all of the verses one time. Even if it's very quick, you just need to come having tried to translate it. And if you're just like, I don't understand any of this, and you just have question marks, that's fine. Right.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Toda Rabah.
Thanks.
Stop sharing. Stop recording. All right. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Almost.
All right.
See ya. Thanks.
Yep.